Hi, I'm Dana, and I've gotten to a place in life where I actually have very, very good friends. And I didn't really think it'd ever happen because I've gone through so many groups of friends where I've been like, oh my God, I actually have a good group of friends, and then it's all blown up in my face. But right now, I'm in a position where I think that I've gotten like a genuine found family, they're not just friends, they're people that I am very, very close to and really deeply trust, and who I think feel the same about me. And with one friend in particular, we've been having a lot of conversations about what our past friendships have been like. And it's really made me want to do a video about like autistic failed friendships because I've had a lot of failed friendships. And so many of them sort of fall into the same categories. So I wanted to talk about it and sort of go through the things that I've noticed and get your guys' like thoughts and opinions on it all. And even though it's quite like a sad topic, I do feel like it can kind of be a fun video. So my first little like category slash like subgenre or whatever is the immediate spark and the fizzle out. And to be fair, I do think that's where I'm at currently. Like, I have developed a lot of trust issues, and I am at a point where like even if I have really good immediate chemistry with someone, I'm just not really looking for more friendships to maintain right now. But in the past, I've always been on the other side of that, where I'm like, I've met this really cool person, we've had this immediate chemistry, we get on really well, and now nothing's happening, Like, there might be a little message of like, oh, we should meet up for coffee. You might actually meet up for coffee, it might just like not extend from there, like there might be lots of like a monthly meetup and things like that where it's like we're not friends, but also it's not this like close deep friendship that I expected it to be from the chemistry that we had. And I don't really like sort of like distanced friendships. I don't really see the point of them. I'm like, I either want to be friends or we're not. Like, I don't understand like the acquaintance to friend to best friend to close deep, like I don't like all of that. Either we're friends or we're not. So even if that initial spark was there and we get on really well, if that doesn't continue, if they don't seem to actively want to meet up with me and hang out with me, I just don't care. And it's not going to develop into a friendship. But in the past, when I didn't have friends and I wasn't settled and I was looking for people to be in my life, I would try really hard to like keep pushing it and be like, maybe they are just busy, maybe it is just that. And it's like they've given you 7 excuses to not hang out. You barely reply to each other's messages, like this isn't a friendship, just let it go. But the extension off of that is the friendships that have that bright, like immediate spark, immediate chemistry. We get on so well, we have so much in common, and you form that very close, very deep friendship very quickly. And I've done this a lot. Most of like the people that I would have considered in the past like have been my best friends, like the people that I really adored and was really like, this is my best friend, this is my person, this is my ride or die. That will be the case for 6 months to a year, and then there will be some sort of massive blow up. There will be some sort of big falling out. It will turn out that I didn't ask them how they were enough. My anxiety makes them feel bad. It's always something where they're like, there's this reason, it's your fault, we're not friends anymore. And I'm just like, shit, okay. I've also had a lot of the one where they're like, oh, it's your fault, I'm not going to tell you why because you should know. And I'm just like, I've got no damn idea, my buddy, my pal, my sweet cream soldier. Like, I don't know what it is. I've apparently done a lot of these situations where there's been this big blow up and everyone suddenly hates me, and I'm just like, all right, like, if you told me, I probably wouldn't repeat this behaviour, but no one's fucking telling me, so I'm just gonna go out into the world and keep acting like this, I guess. But it does mean in like my current friendships, like my best friend, my ride or die of Colin, I've been friends with for like a bit over 2 years now. Like, it's one of my like longest friendships that I've had, and I spent a good amount of the start of it being like, we've gotten close like very quickly. Like, this person knows a lot about me. I'm waiting for the blow up. I'm waiting for them to decide that they actually don't like something about me. I'm waiting for them to, realise they don't like me. And it turned out they were like, they've had the same type of friendship experiences and they were sort of waiting for the same thing. And we've had this constant thing of like, oh my God, you actually want to hang out with me? You want to hang out with me? I'm like, yes, we are friends. We want to hang out with each other. But that has not been the past experiences. And especially to have a continued and like lengthy friendship where there's not any like reluctance, there's not any like, oh, I don't really want to hang out, I don't really want to be friends, I don't really want to see you. Like, there's none of that. But all of my past friendships have had some sort of little niggling until it comes to the blow up and suddenly I've done something wrong and I'm not the right person for them or whatever. I do think they're like the worst types of friendships I've had, so it gets a little like easier from here on. So the next one's the forever surface level, and I still feel bad about these friendships. Like, a lot of things in my past, a lot of ways I've behaved, I don't really feel bad about anymore because I'm just like, you've got to deal with it at some point, or it actually wasn't my fault and I shouldn't feel bad about it. But there's been a lot of people where I just don't know what to say to them. I don't know what to do with them. We're not similar people. We don't communicate similarly. We don't actually have anything in common outside of we both want to be friends. So we will continue meeting up for coffee, we will continue hanging out, we will continue doing things together. And as far as I can tell, enjoy each other's company enough and be like, you know, it's that type of thing where you might both be like, this is a really cool person, I really want to be friends with them. But where you'd normally hang out with people and become friends and like a relationship would develop, you just keep hanging out and nothing really happens and you still don't really know what to do with them. And every conversation's like, oh, how have you been lately? Oh, what have you been up to? Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, I've done this. Oh, yeah, we should do that sometime. And you never actually do the thing. You know, like, it never develops into anything deeper. It's always like slightly awkward, but not too bad, because you do both want to be there, you do both want to be friends, but you just don't mesh as people and you want to. So you both keep trying it, but it just doesn't fucking work because you're not friends. Like, it's, you know, when two people just aren't like wired to fucking connect on a friendship level, but you think they're a nice person, you think they're really cool and whatever else, so you keep trying and it doesn't work. And it is the type of friendship that now that I'm in like a more stable place, I'm not like, I need people, please. I would just be like, oh, this isn't working, I'm gonna stop hanging out with them, you know, I'm gonna stop inviting them to things. I don't see the point in keep inviting someone when it's not working. I don't see the point in forcing friendships that aren't there. And similarly to that one, and one that I've perhaps had like actually way more often, is the deep but awkward. And it's very similar to the surface level one, but instead of the, oh, hi, how are you, what have you been up to, you get straight into trauma, you get straight into like the best example I have is one friend that I had where we had had extremely similar abusive relationships. So we knew like some dark and deep details about each other's lives and like really like, you know, should have connected. You know, like we definitely did relate to each other in a lot of ways and had a lot of very similar trauma responses. And the thing that also I think made this like not an unhealthy thing to do was that we were both coping with it and we were both healing from it and we were both dealing with it. You know, it wasn't the trauma connection of like we're both going to spiral with this or we're just going to like live within this trauma together or whatever. Like it was a very like, I don't want to say it was very healthy because we were just trauma dumping back and forth. You know, it just didn't feel like it was unhealthy trauma dumping. And it's one of those things where I don't really like using the term trauma dumping that much, but I also often don't know what other word I could use in its place. But it very much felt like we were just sort of using each other as a therapist. And again, it sounds bad when you're like, we were using each other, but I don't even think it was like that. I don't think it was like either of us were aware of it. I don't think either of us were, you know, aiming to use the other. I think it was just, oh, I can meet up with this person and talk about these things that I don't get to talk about because I'm not someone who can afford therapy or anything. And they were in a similar position, you know, they definitely couldn't afford therapy either. So we can meet up and say all this stuff and get all this stuff out and feel better afterwards. It's lovely. But what we didn't acknowledge was that we didn't actually know that much about each other on like a personal level. We knew about each other's trauma, we knew about each other's abuse. I couldn't have told you what their favourite colour was, what their favourite TV show was, what their favourite style of clothing was, what their, like, you know, I couldn't have told you anything about them because all of the stuff I knew was trauma stuff that I wouldn't share because it's their trauma stuff. And it was the thing of also, like, I try my best to learn from conversations and learn from my friends and know what's, like, appropriate and good to talk about to, you know, socialise like a normal person as much as possible. So I would try to eventually take the conversation from being about our trauma and being this like back and forth like trauma tennis to talk about ourselves and our lives and other things, and it would just be so incredibly awkward. Like it would make me like, I'm sure they must have seen on my face sometimes that I physically like cringed and flinched and was just like, oh god, this is like talking about anything but our trauma and having that like immediate relatability is just incredibly awkward and it's not fun, and I don't enjoy being around this person at any other time, you know? And it's one of those things that does feel a bit mean, but I'm also like, they definitely felt it too, and you know, and as much as I've got it on like one person, the experience I had with one person here, this is an experience that I've had with more than one person across my life, where you can tell them anything as long as it's not stuff that you'd tell other people. And the stuff that you would tell other people just doesn't mesh with them. You don't really connect as people on any other level outside of like the bad things you've been through. And in a lot of ways, a lot of the relationships I've had that have been like that have been very, very unhealthy and very toxic, and we've really like lived in that trauma and kept reliving it and like used it in a very unhealthy way. But like as I've gotten older and I'm a healthier person myself, and I don't slip into those same coping mechanisms and those same like techniques to get through things, it just became a healthier way of trauma dumping and a healthier way of talking about those things to someone who understands. But that's not what a friendship is. You can't build a friendship entirely on having similar trauma, you know? And finally, by far the worst type of friendship, and one that I, have not put myself through in a very long time, is the pity friend option or the no other friend option. And they are sort of different things, but one of them I can cover very quickly and the other I can't, so I'm bundling them into one. So the no other option friend, which I've been a lot, is quite obvious, which is just there's no one else there to be their friend. There's no one else that likes them. There's no one else that they like. There's whatever's going on. This was usually in school, I'll give, where like this person doesn't have any friends. The people they keep trying to make friends with aren't making friends with them, aren't acknowledging them, might even be being mean, I don't know. But then you come to this little autistic bitch and you're like, oh hi, how are you? And I'm like, oh my god, someone's talking to me. Hi, how are you? I'm good, thanks. And I'm being like super nice and super nice and trying my best to make a friend because I often don't have any other friends either. And all of a sudden I've got a friend who is only my friend because they don't have any other friends. Which means that as soon as someone else offers or like shows an inclination to be their friend, I'm getting dropped. I'm getting dropped so fucking fast. And it happened to me so many times. And like I say, it is something that I think happens a lot more in school, and I feel like a lot of people have experienced it in school, but it is something I also experienced a handful of times in college and a little bit later on, where, like the first few days of college, I had a lot of friends and they all just sort of drifted off as they found other people they could actually be friends with, and I was like, oh, I'm left here with no one. And there were even people that I invited over to my house that I like intended to be friends with that then ended up being better friends with my boyfriend and just not really acknowledging or talking to me, Like it's happened a lot. But the one that really upsets me and the one that really gets to me and the one that I really don't like is the pity friend. And like I do currently have friendships that I had like for the longest time an absolute like pit of my stomach fear that they were friends with me out of pity and they just felt bad for me and they were just like, oh, better help little Dana out. Because that has been like one of my biggest experiences in friendships, has been people noticing that I'm a little bit lonely, that I'm maybe not doing so well, that I maybe don't have any other friends, and they feel bad for me and they're like, oh, come be friends with me, we can be friends. And then they realise they don't actually like me as a person, they maybe wouldn't have chosen me as a friend in any other set of circumstances, we maybe don't have much chemistry, whatever reason, they're not actually my friend, they just feel bad for me. So when I actually need support, when I actually want friends, they're not really there, they're not a good friend, they don't actually care about me. And at some point something's going to happen where I realise, oh, I'm not actually a part of this group. Like when I was younger, that would be when we were organising plans and I wouldn't be a part of the plans, Like I have good ideas for things that you can do and places you can visit and whatever else, so I would be a part of making the plans, knowing full well that I wasn't actually a part of them, I wouldn't actually be going and doing the thing. And even though these people are ones that befriended me because they felt bad for me, which you would think would indicate they're a nice person, they often are the types of people that will also be like, they'll let people know about me before I meet them. They will try to educate me on how to be like a normal person. They'll like give me the nudge of like, no, you're talking too much, or oh, that was a weird thing to say. And like, I am being myself and you're telling me these parts of myself are things that are inappropriate for the world and these are the reasons that I don't have friends or outside of you. And it often turns into a very unhealthy, very one-sided friendship where I'm trying my best to be nice because I have friends and they're trying their best to get rid of me. It's been a whole experience and it's fucking horrible. And a little bonus one to that I haven't really personally experienced but my best friend has and has talked a lot about is they've been used in a lot of friendships, and it's one of those things where I ask their friend, I can see why. They're a really nice person, they have a lot of cool stuff, they have a lot of incredible talents and skills. They're a very easy person to use and you would get a lot out of using them. I'm not that kind of person. I don't have that many talents and skills. I don't have like, what would you be using me for? I don't know. But with my best friends, there's a lot of things that you could use them for. And there's a lot of things where I'm very like, that's the thing is I'm scared I'm using them for things. It's like I also like see them like multiple times a week and genuinely enjoy hanging out with them, and they are my best friend that I would ride or die and do anything for and offer any support they needed, and I'm still like, But if I like use their resin art, am I actually just using them as a person? And no, I'm not. I'm there because I'm their fucking friend. But I still worry about it because they're so cool and they have so much like cool stuff and so many cool talents that like they are such an easy person to be like, oh, I'm just gonna befriend this person so I can get this thing, you know? And it's not something I've experienced, but it's something they've talked a lot about experiencing, and I can very, very much see why. And it does like make me a little bit extra defensive when they're making new friends and being like, and why are they coming out, and why do they and it's one of those things where I'm like, I know why they want to be your friend. It's because they're fucking like, my best friend is so cool, that's why they're my best friend, you know? I think only good, positive, nice things about them because they're brilliant. Like, I absolutely 100% understand why someone would want to be friends with them, because I want to be friends with them. And yet I'm still like, are they wanting to be friends with you for the right reasons? Because I'm so aware of how many things that they have about them that they could just be used for. And I get the absolute fear that I'm using them, but I also know that I'm not. So that was my little bonus point. I'm filming this on Sunday. I'm filming this like 4 hours before you guys need to see it. So I need to shut up and go and edit and actually schedule this. My uploading schedule... I have absolutely fucked myself over. I don't have anything ready. I don't have anything pre-prepared. Everything is going up like I'm doing it immediately before you see it, and it is so stressful. I really need to get some shit like pre-filmed, especially with Christmas coming up. So, as always, I would love any comments. I would love anything, like the experiences you've been through, how you feel about friendships, how you feel about the things that I've said. I love getting comments. I love knowing what you guys think. I post here on Thursdays and Sundays, and occasionally on Tuesdays too. That's becoming a little bit more common. And I also post over on TikTok near daily, and I occasionally post over on Twitter and Instagram too. If you want to follow me in places where you can pay me money for making this content, you can follow me on Patreon as a YouTube member, or you can donate a one-time little amount over to me on Ko-fi, or a big amount if you want. You could... I haven't bought any Christmas food or anybody Christmas presents, and I'm scared. I'm just very stressed, essentially. You don't have to send me money. I was gonna say I'm not encouraging, sorry, I needed to move my leg, my foot's gone numb. I was gonna say I'm not encouraging you to send me money, and technically I am, but we do this every single video. I feel very awkward asking for money. There is no pressure. You don't have to send me any money, but it is all there if you want to, and I would massively appreciate it if you do want to, but you don't have to, and I don't appreciate you any less if you don't. Everything is okay. So whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you have a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see you again in a couple of days, hopefully.